Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. I love learning about old ships. I looked up Galleon, and I also looked up when the first sailing ship was known of, and early as 3500 BC in the Red Sea or Persian Gulf, which is crazy. So, like, okay. And a galleon is a large sailing ship with square sails used from the 14 to 1700s, especially by the Spanish. Spanish galleon does ring a bell. Um, yeah, let's go. I really want to know what the purposes of all of the cordage and line is. Anchor. So this is 16th to 17th century. Like, that's like peak of the Spanish Empire, right? So 1500s, 1600s. I would think maybe like late 1700s, early 1800s would be sort of the what I would the pinnacle of wood constructed rope sailing propulsion ships. And so all of that knowledge built over millennia would have culminated in that sort of technology. And it's sad when a much superior way of building ships in using iron and steel, and the more superior way when you have engine propulsion with propellers, means that the wood expertise goes, the rope expertise goes, a lot of it, and the sailing, the sails themselves and the expertise, it just, all of that was lost, most of it, I'm sure. And I would have loved to be able to sit on a construction site and just view the highly skilled people in the late 1700s constructing a ship, a big warship, and just what all the lines are for. So the lines have either got to be for raising sails and tightening sails, supporting, like for support, for sails and the mass and whatever, and then some for climbing, I'm assuming. And I like, is this purely for a ladder to get to the top? Is that a hole? Like, I would assume the outer, like these ones up here, I'd assume are for support, right? Because you're not climbing up these. I would assume the thinner ones are for sail, and then these are for climbing. How many men would you need to even sail this thing? Like 50? Jesus. I love the sound of seagulls. Like, a lot of these things have got to be just improvements on thousands of year old things, like the rudder, for instance. That must be that must have been on ships thousands and thousands of years ago. Obviously, the hull of the ship and a sail itself, all right? But so much of the other stuff and just refining, I'm sure finding new materials. Yeah. I love seltzer. Okay. So, I'm assuming a job of people at first, maybe when they... Would they ever use giant oars on either side of the ship just for like docking or just like getting out of a harbor before or just like getting, because how would you move the ship out of port? It's not like you have tugboats. So maybe how... Hiccups. Hiccups. Carbonated beverages give me hiccups, but I love my seltzer. And the purpose of this, just for more propulsion. And I also wonder if I'm pausing too much. My last pause, I promise. Maybe. But I wonder if sometimes less sales meant you went faster in some conditions, or if like you wanted to go as fast as possible, put every sail down or up, down. Ooh, we're gonna go on the ship. So if you wanted to tighten the sail, you would wrap it. Need a lot of strong dudes.
We're listening to the commentary.
Give it to me and make do without it 3 days and see how you look.
I'm just going to hold the rope. You can feel the rope. Just in case.
On. Did it tell you about the mask?
It was telling you that.
If you were in the rope business in the 16, 17, 1800s, I feel like you probably had no shortage of business clients and probably a lot of money.
How many maybe takes to where
Or maybe it was a, you know...
it's visited 15 to 35 men, that's where they're headed to.
Mask sort of 34 metres from the keel.
Also with this, I always think of The Road to El Dorado, the movie. I think it was DreamWorks, but I think of it as like a prison pen. But was this like where you'd store grain or something? So it wouldn't get moldy. Or so they could hear below deck. Oh my god. Was I behind the screen this whole video? Oh my god, please don't tell me I... Hoisting sails, climbing, stability. Are those the only three purposes of the rope? Raising and adjusting the sails. Spanish helmet. Forget what that's called. Conquistador. Put your lighter cannons on top. Do not put your heavier cannons on the top, okay? What's that Swedish ship? The, I forget what it's called. But like on its main voyage, didn't even make it out of the harbor. It was too top heavy, and it fell over, sunk. It's now in a museum now, I think. Excuse me. What is that, oak? The ropes for the recoil? These little metal things would stop this from snapping them? Wouldn't the carpenters and rope makers and like hold all the power on the ship? Because they'd be like, all right, I'm not working. Or like, oh, we have a torn sail. Oh, hey, we need to know how to rig this again. Oh, well, I'm not doing it. Oh, you want to do kill me? Well, it probably would kill you, but...
Wait, but hold my hand.
I'm sure more people knew how to do it.
Wait, but hold my hand.
Come on, Rupert. Come and have a look, see what's in here, mate. Come on. Come on, Rupert.
I'm not holding it up. I'm just dragging you out. Hold my hand. Wait, but hold my hand or you're getting off.
That kid sounds adorable. Room for exclusive use by the authorities. The furniture has been carefully reproduced in detail following graphic representations from the era of furniture used on Spanish galleons. The windows on the stern provided access to the balcony with a painting of the Virgin Mary, born of ships, and sought the room for exclusive use by the authorities. The furniture has been carefully reproduced in detail following graphic representations from the era of furniture. Well, then you didn't. Are they saying that they didn't reproduce them perfectly historically because they were too, like, risque? It's history, though.
Any minute, just wait.
Wait, you want to have a look at anything? What do you think? You're finished? Is Grandad finished though? Do you have to make sure everyone's had a nice time? Grab everyone.
I don't collect anything, but if there's one thing I sort of want to collect are maps and globes over time. You know? Like, I would love some from over the centuries or the millennia, so I could, like, put them up on my wall chronologically of how I would love that. If there's anything I would collect, it would be globes, older maps. Looks beautiful. Beautiful. Heavier guns. Why did it take them so long to come up with breech loading? Like, you'd think they'd probably know how to do that. Coming from hindsight, me. Oh, what's that to do? Raising the anchor? I know I've done a lot of pausing, guys. Full sail. Very tall. Is that the onboard gym? Oh, look. What are those called again? Rip shots? The two cannonballs, but with the chain in it? I guess it's really good for, like, tearing down beams at, like, masts and stuff. Or someone's head. Oh, just for sunlight? That makes sense. So this is like where the carpenters and rope people, I guess what you would call like the engineers.
Sorry, my bad.
I don't know if a shot from that cannonball with the chain on it could take down this thing. That looks sturdy as hell. All right, we're basically just going to, you know, new shots of the ship here that we've earned, old shots of the ship. It's really interesting, guys. I talked a lot. I find this very interesting. Love y'all. Would appreciate any comments down below. Answers to any of my questions. Any comments at all. Why do I always do this at the end? Answer to any questions I had. Any comments at all. Would appreciate it. Love y'all. And hope you're all doing well. See you next time. Bye.